on my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ari Lee and today we are going to be learning how to recreate this stunning little sunset ombre glitter full coverage moment. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so we're starting out with the Rose 3-in-1 Primer Water from Wet n Wild. I'm pretty sure I got it from the dollar store or Walmart. Then we're going in with my Dewy Luminous Wet n Wild Primer, just since we're going to be using the Juvia's Place foundation today, which is a pretty matte foundation and we don't want to be too dry. So what I'm doing is I'm wetting my beauty sponge with the rose water and we're taking the primer and we're just bouncing it all over our face. Alright, so now I'm going in with my NYX eyebrow gel in the shade Espresso and just a regular old double-ended e.l.f. spoolie eyebrow brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in my eyebrows. A lot of people start from the bottom, but I like to start from the top just because my top is what really gives me the structure of the brow and how I want it to look like. Then when you're done, you just smooth everything into place. And for carving out my brows, I'm taking my Wet n Wild concealer in the shade Light Medium Beige, 841B. And then just a regular flat eyeliner brush from e.l.f. I'm going to put the concealer all over my lid and kind of drag it out so that I can really prime for my eyeshadow. Then, like I said, I take that flat brush and I get it as close to the bottom of my eyebrow as I can. I also kind of smooth out some of the lines that are on my eyelid to get that ready for whenever we go in with the Beauty Blender to smooth everything together. I use the outer, like the leftover concealer on my brush just to kind of shape the top a little bit, but we don't go along the whole side, top of the brow, because nobody wants that white line above their brow. It's 2019. Then, like I said, we're going to take a beauty blender and we're just going to mush everything together, make it all kind of look like skin. So now I'm going in with a e.l.f. powder brush and my Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting powder in Banana, and we're just going to set everywhere I laid the concealer down. Today we're going to be using the Morphe X Jeffree Star palette as well as a custom ColourPop palette that I made, and from the Blood Sugar Jeffree Star palette we're going to be using the color Glucose in order to really set and prime the eye and get everything ready for laying down color. For that shade Glucose, I'm taking an e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush and I'm just going to pack that onto my lid. So now we are dipping into the Morphe X Jeffree Star palette, just with a regular blending eye brush from e.l.f. We're going to go into Mr. Diva and we're going to lay that down as our crease color. We're just blending that out with sweeping motions, dipping back into the pan. I dropped the brush, but we're not going to talk about it. Now I'm taking my Morphe M433 brush, and we are going to dip into that custom ColourPop palette. We're going to dip into the color Take Flight first, and we're going to really pack that onto the on top of where we put Mr. Diva in order to have a really pretty transition. We are not going to talk about my dirty Morphe brush. It's the only one I have, and I'm fairly certain that I could do an entire look with it, but that's for another day. We're just really going to pack on Take Flight, this beautiful yellow. Then after that, we're going to go into the shade Bratty, and we are going to use the same brush, tap off that excess, and continue sweeping that in the crease to really make that color pop. That was a pun. So now we are dipping into the next orange color. It's called Ooh with 3 O's. It's a really, really vibrant sunset orange. It's really going to achieve the look that we're looking for today. This palette, by the way, absolutely amazing. After Ooh, we're going to go into the shade Sandbar, and we're going to double that up on a regular e.l.f. crease brush with Going Steady. And we're just going to apply that all over the lid to get a really, really pretty gradient going on. So I'm going back in with that dirty Morphe brush just to kind of really bring those oranges and yellows back into play so that we can really get a good little ombre going on right there in the inner crease. We're just going to continue blending until our arms fall off, basically. So now that I have the look I'm going for, I'm going in with my Wet n Wild eyeliner. It's not the waterproof one, it's just the original Wet n Wild black liner. And we're going to do a tiny little baby wing. So for mascara today, we're going in with the Maybelline Rocket Lash Volume Mascara. It's something that a lot of people don't like, but I really love the consistency of it. I love the opacity, and I love the way that it makes my lashes look. And then once I get my bottom mascara on, I'll go off camera and do my other eye. So for my foundation today, we're going in with the Juvia's Place Full Coverage I Am Magic Foundation. It's a velvety matte finish. I use the shade Bogota 500, and we're just going to get the headscarf out the way. Take a damp beauty sponge, and we're going to dot that on our face. Once I've got it to where I like the coverage, we're going to blend it all out. So sometimes when I'm using my damp beauty blender, it doesn't quite get the coverage and the seamlessness that I like. So now I'm going in with my e.l.f. triangular face brush, and I'm just kind of buffing that out, getting it all in the fine lines where I need it to be. Now I'm going back in with my Wet n Wild concealer, once again in the shade Light Medium Beige. And I am going to just do the whole triangle crap that everybody does underneath their eyes. I'm going to use that to highlight my cheeks, my nose, and my chin, and a little bit of my forehead, as well as on top of my lip. For contour, I'm going in with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick contour. It's in the shade Oaks on You. We're going to put that in the hollows of our cheek, on the sides of our nose, everywhere you would normally contour. Then once I have that all set up where I like, and also I like to put it on the bottom of my lip just to give it a little bit of a shadow, we're going in with the e.l.f. setting spray on the damp beauty blender, and we're going to blend everything together to make it look flawless. hand's about to fall off from blending everything together, we're going in with that Wet n Wild Photo Focus once again in Banana and a different damp beauty sponge. We're going to get a lot of product on the sponge and we are going to press it underneath our eyes, on top of our nose, wherever it was that we put the concealer, just to set everything into place and really make everything like a buttery finish. Once the setting powder is in place, we're going to go in and set our contour with the Makeup Revolution Mega Bronzer in the shade 02 Warm. And we're just going to take that on actually an e.l.f. highlighting brush. I don't have a bronzing brush, so we have to make do, honey. And we're just going to set everywhere that we put the contour just to really deepen those shadows and make everything look really snatched. For setting the contour on the side of my nose, I literally just squeeze my brush into a line so that way I can get it really, really sharp and really defined. So don't judge me. So while my concealer is setting and baking, however you want to call it, I couldn't quite decide between these two ColourPop blushes, but I ended up going in with the Super Shock Never Been Kissed, just because it's that really pinky, soft vibe that we're looking for. Once I decided, I ended up deciding it was time to go ahead and wipe off all that excess powder so that we could move on to filling in our under eye line and blush and highlight. For my under eye, I'm going in with a mix of Going Steady and Sandbar First on a smudge brush, just a regular one from Walmart. And I'm really pressing that close to my waterline because I want to add a couple more colors down there. I don't want it to look too crazy, but definitely not too pink. So we're just going to press that in really, really well. And then I'm taking a mix of Take Flight and Ooh on a small bullet crease brush. And I had a hair on my brush, don't mind that. And we're just going to really smoke out that lash line and make it really, really gradient. So I'm wetting my blush brush because I wanted a more intense look. Since I am medium skin tone, blushes sometimes don't show up very well on me. But as I went to apply, I realized that it was a little bit too pigmented. That's why I just did a little bitty bit right there on the apples of my cheeks, swept it out, stuck a little bit on the tip of my nose, on my chin, center of my lips, and the center of my forehead because we were really trying to spread that color out, but we didn't want to look too crazy. And then I went in with my damp beauty sponge and kind of diffused the color a little bit so that way I didn't look like a circus clown. That's much better. So for highlight today, I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in Sun Dipped, and I'm taking the shade Moonstone, which I have hit pan on. I've had this kit for a long time, and we are going to take that on just a angled highlighter brush. I think I got this one as a gift actually. I'm pretty sure it came off a Wish. It just looks like a unicorn horn, so you know, iconic. But we're going to sweep that all over our tops of our cheeks, our temples, and the tips of our nose. So now it's time for my favorite part, lipstick. I actually have a huge lipstick collection, and it's not something to be proud of because I only wear about 4 colors, but we're gonna work with it. And we're gonna go in with the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in Soft Spoken. We're gonna completely outline our lips. I don't do overlining or anything like that because I'm half black, my lips are big enough. So we're just gonna follow the shape of our lips, and we're gonna fill that in once we get our shape defined. So for the lips today, we're going in with the Mega Last Liquid Catsuit from Wet n Wild in the shade Give Me Mocha. It's one of my favorite colors, mostly just because it's the only nude that I have really found that works for me. And because no look is complete without lip gloss, we're going in with the Wet n Wild Color Icon Lip Gloss in the shade Leo. And we're just going to apply that all over our lip. So we got a little bit of a scenery change, and I'm having to hold my phone manually. But that's how you complete this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous look. I just popped a little bit of Palooza from my ColourPop palette right here in my inner corner. That's how we do that. Stay slaying, babes.